Welcome to another episode of the Victors Nation podcast. I am your host, Jason, and with me, per usual, Derek Drafin. Boys, Ohio State's biggest win against Michigan in 3 years.
Ho, 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 ho.
Yeah,
Shit.
you could
Okay.
tell that there was a big portion of the Ohio State fan base and the Michigan State fan base that were just waiting for Michigan to lose a game so that they could say, "See, you can't win without Connor Stallions," right? Without the logic of the fact that we turned over a hell of a lot of players to the NFL and a hell of a lot of coaches to the NFL.
Half of our coaching staff, 10 players, defense overall almost. Yep.
So they really gonna be mad when we had no Connor Steins and we still beat them again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're going to lose
Jeez.
it, dude. They're already
Jeez.
on, dude,
Suicide watch.
dude, suicide
Suicide watch.
watch, mental health issues, justifying L's, have you ever seen?
Yeah, but let's get into the Texas recap here, right? So, 23 straight games that Michigan had won in the Big House over the last 3 years. Only one loss during the regular season, right? So that streak came to an end in the Big House, and now after 2 straight years without losing a game in the regular season. Now we took our first regular season loss. So as always, going to be a little bit of a gut punch when you're not used to losing anymore and you lose, and a little bit of a gut punch when you lose in the fashion that Michigan ended up losing, which was really domination by Texas and a lot of mistakes on the Michigan side of things. A lot of mistakes to go around. Mistakes by the coaching staff, mistakes by the players. A style of football that we aren't used to seeing based off of what we've seen for the last few years. So, getting into it, right? Defense, right? The defense was something that I still think is going to be the backbone of this team, right? So that we still have a defensive line that I think every offensive line in the country is gonna be challenged going up against. Texas wisely stayed away from Will Johnson, right? I think he only had one target all game, and it was a beatdown. Yeah, no other way to put it. Absolutely, right. But our linebacker performance was something we're not used to seeing lately. Our safety performance was something we're not used to seeing lately, and quite honestly, I'm not necessarily sure that Wink Martindale put the team in the best position defensively. Right. So defense side of the ball, we got beat up. We couldn't get off the field on third down. And it was 24-3 going into halftime. Quite honestly, should have been 31-3 if it wasn't for a holding penalty taking a touchdown off the board for Texas and then a missed field goal. Right. They really did whatever they wanted to. Offensively, complete lack of rhythm. Pretty much the entire game. It was one of those things. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong. Right. It was, we had a hard time running the ball, even though Donovan Edwards actually ran the ball pretty well. Donovan Edwards was one of the bright spots, I thought, on offense, the way he ran the ball. But still, just seemed like a complete lack of rhythm. Seemed like on the play calling side of things, we really had a hard time stringing together any sort of identity, setting anything up later on in the game, and uncharacteristic turnovers by big players. Right, we had a couple interceptions, but Colson Loveland has never fumbled like that in his life, and will never fumble like that again in his life. Right, so sometimes things just go a certain way, and it's not anything that we can predict. But we got to move forward. Right, we got to take the gut punch. We got to take the loss. This coaching staff has to build off of it. The players have to build off of it and move forward. But I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are as we look back on what took place on Saturday. Jason, let's start with you. Let's start with the defensive side of the ball too, with your thoughts on what you saw on defense. If there were any bright spots to take away.
Defensive wise, displayed bad tackling, not breaking down, poor communication, and that's it's very uncharacteristic of this defense. It felt like Texas could pretty much do whatever they wanted. Right? They converted 10 third downs, I believe, out of 16 attempts. It just wasn't good. And in the first half, we talked a little bit before we went live. I mean, in the first half, we were right on his back. We were breathing down at Ewer's neck. We were right there to make a play on third and long a few times as well, too. It is what it is, but it just wasn't very well communicated on the defensive side of the ball at all, and just really not great tackling. Not great tackling at all. I mean, it is what it is. Derek, I'm just going to kind of repeat what you said too. I mean, fans are kind of freaking out because of the loss and the way we lost as well too. But it's early in the year, 3 losses, including 1 regular season loss in 3 years, and we can't lose our composure right now. This team isn't gonna do that. But we really couldn't play our game at all last week Saturday, and we're gonna have to get creative on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and Zach threw a couple comments in here. Right, Wink is too aggressive, and no one on the bench close to comparison to Mason or Kenneth. I think these are 2 good points, Zach, to make about our defense. I think the DNA.
I agree with one of those points. I agree with Wink too aggressive.
Yeah.
But I think Josiah and Derek Moore are great. I think they're great. Right. I just think Texas had the better, just a good. Let's say the number 1 O-line in the country. At the end of the year, I think they'll probably be top 5 for the Joe Moore Awards. But go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, I agree real quick too what Dre just said as well. Like Texas probably has is going to have the best offensive line consistently, so to speak. But I mean, they're down running backs right now. They could pretty much do whatever they wanted in the running game.
Exactly.
We got ours. We got ours, but for sure. But yeah, I agree with everything Dre just said. Yeah. But yeah, Derek, go ahead.
And I think so. Zach just posted a clarification that this is the way that I took your comment, Zach. Is last year we had a great rotation. Last year we didn't have any defensive lineman that averaged. I think the most was like 30 snaps in a game. So being able to have Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham and be able to rotate Rayshon Benny and Chris Jenkins last year and even Cam Good there. There was depth no because I think let me pull up my numbers here. I think that Kenneth Grant played 60 snaps on Saturday and Mason Graham played 58. So they're playing more than double what they were playing, and so that's just a depth thing, right? So those guys when they can go and be completely fresh, when we can have two deep on the D line across the board, edges and D tackles that can stay fresh throughout the game. That's what we had last year, and that went a long way because our D line was fresh through the 4th quarter, and we were abusing offensive lines, and that's where we don't have that depth necessarily in the D line this year. And I think the identity of the Wink Martindale defense, I think he was just untimely aggressive. I think he is aggressive, and I think he might need to dial it back. But I put a lot of those 3rd down conversions on Wink. I put those 3rd down conversions on the players not being put in a good position to make a stop on 3rd down, and a lot of that is the aggressiveness that Wink brought.
Man, but Wink can't make the tackle.
Right. So and so that's where it would be interesting, and it would be interesting to see in the meeting rooms where are those mistakes? Are those mistakes on the coaches, which I think a lot of them are. Right. I think there's going to be an adjustment period, and I think Wink is getting the unfortunately the fact that the adjustment period has to the college football game ended up coming against potentially the best team in college football this year in week 2. Right. But there's always been these challenges that NFL coaches and college coaches face when they try and change levels. And one of the big challenges is that, and at the NFL level where Wink came from, that there's a very, very minimal talent discrepancy from the best team in the league to the worst team in the league, right? So you're playing a lot of equally talented players, and so that's where scheme and execution is probably going to be there, because that's all these guys do now, right? There's no rules like college football has for a number of hours that they can assign to the week for meetings and film and practicing and all of that in the NFL, right? In college, there is talent discrepancy, right? So you can't just count on your guys being equally as good as their guys. You have to sometimes scheme things up in order to overcome areas where the other team might have just more pure talent than you have, and make plays. And that's where I think the coaching staff the last couple of years was really good in maximizing what they had in scheming to their strengths and scheming against opponents' strengths, and with a hyper focus on the attention to detail of things like being in the right gap, where it looked a lot of times like our linebackers weren't, being in the right spot on coverage, having the right pre-snap reads. There's so much that goes into alignment, even just being in the right spot when the ball is snapped based off of what the offense is giving you and what their look is. And that's where I think there are some gaps on this defense, at least this past week, compared to what we saw on defense the last couple of years. Dre, you dive in a little bit more on what your thoughts were on the defensive side of the ball.
I think Saturday showed that we were really misroused more leadership on the back end, because man, I don't know, man. I don't think he was too aggressive, like you said. I just think he was aggressive at the wrong times. I think his defense is going to be great. I think we had the players to have the number one defense in the country. I just don't know what happened Saturday. I think they were just better than us, and it showed. Like our lack of experience. They're a great team. That was a great team, man. I can't say really nothing too bad about Texas. But they just, like I said, they were just better than us. I feel like great comparison. I heard somebody say they us from last year. You know what I'm saying? With a return and all the talent they returned, and the older leadership that they have. And so, like I said, I'm kind of glad we got smacked in the mouth, though. Do I wish it happened? No.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? But I think this is going to tighten us up. I think they needed to see the embarrassment. I think they needed the world to be looking down on them. I think everybody was too high on a high horse after us winning the Natty. Even coaches.
Yeah.
So now I feel like everybody gonna go back to square one, and let's get it, man. Hopefully we can run off a couple wins straight and get back in the Big Ten. Well, no, we ain't even out of Big Ten, because Big Ten ain't start yet. But just get us in playoff position to make a run.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I just don't want no bowl game, man. We can't satisfy for no bowl game. We have to at least be in the playoffs after, you know what I'm saying, defending our title. So we run off a couple games, and I feel like we got to split. Now, I mean, now that we lost to Texas, I don't feel like we got to split at first. The beginning, I thought we had to split. If we beat Texas, I feel like we split against Oregon or Ohio State, we were still gonna get in. But now I feel like we got to beat both of them.
So here's the thing is, well, regardless of who was going to win that game, right, Michigan or Texas, both teams were going to have all of their goals right still in front of them. And whoever won that game was always going to have a resume booster. In the scenario that they weren't that they didn't win their conference, to be one of the at-large teams, because it's going to be four conference champions plus 4 conference champions plus one of the non-power four conferences that automatically gets a bid, and then the rest of the teams are going to be at-large teams that get the bid. So, in a way, maybe it takes a little bit of the pressure off, right? They got the loss out. That's
what I was thinking
got,
too.
They got knocked down a peg, and now they're not this whole team, but this defense especially, right? Because we'll get to offense in a second, but they're not it's not the culture of 21. It's not the culture of 22. It's not the culture of 23, right? They're not the same defenses. They're not the same teams. They need, where at one point in time you had the Aiden Hutchinson stepping up and Josh Ross stepping up, and you had the Mike Barrett, you had the Blake Corum and the JJ McCarthy and the Mikey Sainrisdale, right? When you've had leaders like that, the Zach Zinter type leaders in the room, even the Roman Wilsons, right? There's a lot of guys that were part of this program for the last few years that were culture building guys, that were guys that when they needed to step up and do something or make a play or do something the right way, they did it, right? Those guys have moved on. Now we need a new group of guys to take on that culture. And defensively,
just the type of losing experiences that they've had as well too. I mean, made those guys true leaders.
Yeah,
true leaders from that. So we need a voice. We need a voice in the locker room for sure.
The 2020 season was what made the 21 through 23 run, right? It was Aiden Hutchinson and Josh Ross pulling the guys together and saying, "Hey, this is our culture. If you're not part of it, then you can get out of here." Right? That was what built the foundation of the culture. And we've got some guys that can be that type of a guy, right? That's Donovan Edwards can be that type of a guy. Rod Moore can be that type of a guy even without being on the field. Right? Will Johnson can be that type of a guy. Right? There are guys on this team that I think are going to step up and do just that. Right. But, it was a disappointing effort from our defense. It was a disappointing effort from our coaching staff. Our guys weren't put in a great position, I don't think. Linebackers, we've got some great linebackers. I still think that Jayshawn Barham and Ernest Hausman and Jimmy Rolder are great linebackers. But, man, they got eaten up in the pass game. Right. They were, they just had an off day, and it's hard to pinpoint.
Again, I just think it was bad defense. Bad defensive
right?
calling. I think
it's hard to pinpoint. Were they in the wrong spot, or was it?
I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix of all the above. Both? Bad communication, bad packages, bad play calling at the wrong times. It's just we didn't make a play. I think just overall it was just
a bad game.
It was a blend of everything. Yep. Bad game.
But part of what you alluded to, Dre, part of what made it a bad game is Texas is also really good, right? That Texas, we talked about that Texas offensive line returning 4 starters from last year's team, right? We know what that's like. We know what it's like to have a team go to the college football playoff and lose in the first round and still return most of that team the following year, right? The thing is that where Texas retooled in the transfer portal was by adding a bunch of top-end elite talent back onto their roster where they turned it over to the NFL.
Exactly.
So
Quinn
Ewers is one that beat us. We early on through the first few drives of the game until we got completely on our heels, we were putting them in third down consistently. We were putting them 3rd and long pretty consistently, and it was Quinn Ewers making plays. Right. And part of that can be on the defensive play calls, but there was a couple times that we weren't that far away from getting off the field, and it was Quinn Ewers that scrambled out of the pocket or Quinn Ewers that dotted a receiver. So we got to give credit where credit's due, and the fact that that's a damn good football team too. That's a damn good offense, and that's a damn good quarterback that made plays when they needed to be made.
And Mr. Ewers was doing his thing. I ain't gonna lie to you.
In a tough road environment. So
it was definitely tough. Definitely tough in there. You couldn't hear.
Yeah.
Until we started getting beasted.
Right.
Then next thing you know, we hear that Texas bull. Oh my God, I was so mad. I I'm used to taking stadiums over, bro. They took our shit over, bro. I was so
Yeah.
mad,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, we were doing
Characteristic. We're not
Hey,
used
one
to it.
thing I
So.
can say about Texas, man, they fans travel. I love to see it, bro. That is what college
Even that
football
on
is
social
about.
media too, they've been nothing but like most of them have been nothing but pretty cool too.
I mean,
Had
hey, they
nothing but
was
great things
cool,
to
bro. I
say
mean,
about.
hey, bro,
Yeah,
I have fun. I am not gonna lie to you, bro. I did not meet a bad Texas fan. Well, I met some, some, but
yeah.
I didn't
Every fan base.
overall, you know what I'm saying? I didn't meet really too many bads because man, I had a good time in my section until, I couldn't have a good time no more.
Well, to me, the promising thing on defense before we switch to offense is we know we've got talent there. Right? We know we've got some guys. We know we've got some dudes, right? So now we just need our coaching staff to gel together on that side of the ball a little bit, and our players to gel together because there are some new players, right?
Yep.
And the only thing that's going to do it is exposure, right? The only thing that's going to do it is practice reps, and game film breakdown and making the adjustments. So we've got some dudes. We just got to fine tune it to get the best.
No, I think everyone just needs to stop freaking out too. Like, so we had 3 non-conference games last year that we didn't really look that great. It took a little bit to gel, and we needed those those game time reps as well. And then we had Rutgers at actually week 4. Like, we didn't perform really well like the actual first 4 games last season, but unfortunately we didn't get that opportunity. So we got beat by a really good team. So props to Texas, but now we go back to the drawing board, and now we can actually look at. We just played a really solid, a national title contender, and what adjustments we actually need to make, and we're gonna make them.
Yep.
That's the schedule. Play the schedule that's given to us. So except
absolutely,
we don't get lucky like Ohio State and play JV teams.
So let's talk offense then. All right. So offensive side of the ball, might be able to look at the second half and say, hey, we saw some reasons for optimism there. We saw a couple plays being made. We moved down the field and we got the ball in the end zone. But start with you, Jason. What were your thoughts on offense coming out of this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of garbage time for that touchdown, but it is what it is. It's going into next week, basically, so we'll still take it. But so we couldn't control the line, like, at all. Derek, I know you're going to probably get some numbers up for us as well, too, but with Michigan's identity, we have to run the ball, and we haven't really seen that the first 2 weeks of this campaign. We can't run the ball right now. We got 5 studs at the running back position. We have to start getting creative in the play calling. Someone's got to make a play. We couldn't be a bull constrictor. We couldn't protect the ball. We had missed opportunities to put up additional points as well too. And I'm not. We talked a little bit about it prior before going live. I wasn't a fan of some of the play calling. It's too predictable for me. We got to get creative and shake things up. Putting Orgy out on a 3rd down, it's like, okay, what do you think's going to happen? So, I think we couldn't play our game the way we wanted to, and that's fine. It's life. We have to make changes. We're definitely going to need some changes with the play calling to open up the running game to get something on the board, because it was a rough game to watch offensively. Yeah, we saw some light here and there, but overall, overall, it was just kind of a tough watch. Do I still think we got some playmakers on offense? Yeah, absolutely, especially in the running back room. But we got to do something with this play calling. Something's got to change. Something's got to give. And I think we're going to start seeing Alex Orgy get some packages to pass the ball as well too offensively, and maybe see Jack Tuttle as well. But we'll see. It was a tough game. It was a tough watch, but we live, we learn, and we move on, and on to week 3.
Gray, what about you? What are your thoughts on offense coming out of this game?
I only got 2 problems, man. For real. I think Donovan Edwards is not a up the middle runner. We got to start giving him more sweeps and pitches to the outside. Um, that's first. Khalil Mullins is the between the tackles runner. You know what I'm saying? That's our between the tackles runner. Um, and our line just got to get better. That's it. Simple. So you can't. I mean, we got to move people off the ball. If we can't move people off the ball, we're gonna lose. Davis is not gonna have no time to throw, and he gonna continue to look how he look. You know what I'm saying? And it's not all on him. Like I said, it's the line. You know what I'm saying? So if we don't get our line together, um, we'll be talking about the same thing over and over again until the end of the season. So my take,
And
I really go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say I liked what I saw from Benjamin Hall as well too. I
Oh
like that
yeah, I
he got
mean,
his reps.
like I
Jordan
said,
Marshall as well. So
I don't got no problem with what we doing. It's just
yeah, no, I get
um
it.
our line got to get better. And like I said, I think Donovan he not a inside runner. He an outside runner. So I think we need to just start get creative with the sweeps and the pitches and the, you know what I'm saying, the swing passes, all of that. We got to get creative with him. He's not a like to hand the ball off in the backfield. I mean, he can be. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I think he's more comfortable running on the outside. And I think Khalil was more comfortable running on the inside. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think we need to get more stay in shotgun a little bit more, give Davis a little bit more time. Don't put him under center as much.
Yeah, give an opportunity to see the defense a little bit better.
Yeah, I think we need to put him in shotgun a little bit more. Because being under center, man, he gonna get ate up more times than none, like how he did against Texas. But that's my only takes, man. Everything else, like I said, I got confidence in us. Maybe I'm naive because I'm a Michigan. I love Michigan, but I just got
Football fan,
confidence.
Dre. Football fan.
Yeah, football fan. So, I got. Like I said, we'll see. We'll see. It'd be more telling this week to see how, you know what I'm saying, what everything is going on. But as of right now, I can't really say too much because, like I said, that's just like us playing an NFL team again. Like Texas is good. Like I don't really can't say anything. They was down to their third string running back, and a line was letting him move like he was the first string running back for, you know what I'm saying, like all year. I'm like, golly, what is going on? But man, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. It's all growing pains, more reps. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Y'all got to remember, I mean, there's a lot of people first time head coach Sharon Moore. You know what I'm saying? So it's not as easy as just sitting back, calling plays. He got to worry about both sides of the ball. Not like saying it's both his jobs, but because he got offensive defensive coordinators, but he still got to oversee it and draw up a game plan that he wants. You know, however it worked. I ain't no coach, so, but I know it's way more responsibility than just being an offensive coordinator.
Right, because the head coach is kind of like the CEO of the organization, right? So the head coach, the head coach has to coach the players. The head coach has to manage the team. The head coach has to manage the games. The head coach has to manage the entire agenda, right? But part of managing the agenda is the head coach has to manage the coordinators and the assistant coaches, right? And it kind of branches down like that. But I mean, I think you guys hit on a lot of good things, right? I think that the biggest thing right now is I think that the coaching staff is where the biggest improvement is going to come from. The players on the field need to improve. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But even the line can improve by being put in better situations by the coaching staff, because we're talking about predictability, right? We're talking about we get the ball, run, pass. Right, that's what we're looking at. We're before it kind of got to garbage time. How often were we actually pushing the ball down the field in the passing game versus throwing the ball within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage? Not very often, right? So that doesn't put a whole lot of pressure on a secondary. and that allows
even
the
if we ain't
front
connecting, we
seven,
still got to
front
go
eight.
down there and throw the ball to put that pressure. We could get a pass interference. I mean, we got to put that pressure on them to stay honest. We cannot let people stack the box on us every game. If they stack the box on us, it's game over. We're going to have a long season, and people are going to be more mad than what they are right now.
Yeah, because guess what? We've got a brand new offensive line. We turned over some really good football players the last couple years to the NFL. We were able to go play bully ball with the previous offensive lines that we had, and it's okay. It's not an insult to the offensive linemen that are playing to say
I don't think
we
that's
might
our
have
identity no more. I think our identity
right.
is defense now.
Right. Well, our identity is still going to be run the ball. That's still what we're built for. We've recruited and we've built to win in the trenches, but we've got to get a little more creative, right? We've like what you're talking about with Donovan Edwards, right? Khalil Mullins is, at least to me, he looks like the best running back on the team between the tackles, right? Donovan Edwards is probably the best running back on the team if he has a green grass, right? Like I've said, Khalil Mullins going to run for first downs. Donovan Edwards is going to run for touchdowns. That's that's what those two are going to do, right? But they're running the same plays with them, regardless of who's in the game. They're running the same types of plays, and if it means simplifying for the offensive line, if they're finding that the offensive line is making mistakes with certain schemes, simplify it, right? Let them get really good at a couple of different schemes, right? And then get creative by making the defense think. Bring some pre-snap motion, bring some misdirection, get some route concepts. Davis Warren looked, I thought, his sharpest when he was out of the pocket, to being able to look downfield and make throws. Those were his best plays in the game. And yeah, they came late in the game. They came more in garbage time, right? Where Texas kind of, they let off the gas on offense, and they kind of went into a little more of a softer defense. But I thought that's where he looked best. But I think that the offensive line will continue to gel and continue to improve. But we've got to, the coaches got to put them in a better spot. The coaches got to be able to identify strengths and weaknesses, right? So, Evan Link is going to be one of the Michigan greats on the offensive line, right? To be able to step in and start as a redshirt freshman at right tackle, you got to be a pretty damn good football player to do that with the guys that we brought in on the Michigan offensive line. But he still gave up 10 pressures from one spot in the game. Davis Warren dropped back to pass 33 times, and he was pressured 10 times from one position. What are we doing to help him out, right? Bredesen, let me pull this up, right? Because I think it was absolutely coaching malpractice that Khalil Mullins didn't get his first touch of the football until halfway through the second quarter. I think that in a game plan where we're trying to throw body blows, to take your guy that's a guy that's going to deliver those body shots and not give him the ball. Right. Get him in early and often. But let me see. So Max Bredesen is basically an extra offensive lineman out there. And game script influenced this, no doubt, but he only got 13 snaps. He is so important to the run game and such an important blocker that when you have an offensive tackle that's struggling like that, we've got to get help for him, right? And that's on coaching, right? That's a redshirt freshman going up against probably an NFL player across from him. That's a big challenge, right? There's a big difference. Even if he's starting at Michigan, there's still a big difference with who he went up against in week one, who he was going up with against Texas, and who he's going to be going up with next week against Arkansas State, right? So I think that the coaching staff has to, Kirk Campbell, I've got confidence, right? A lot of these guys, Jim Harbaugh spoke very highly of. I've got confidence that they're going to right the ship. But to me, before anything, I think that it's got to be on coaching. It's got to be on Kirk Campbell. It's got to be on putting these guys in position to be successful. It's got to be. Can we just have like maybe a series where if we're part of a group text message, the plays aren't predicted? My phone was blowing up, and it was predictions of Okay, we got the ball back. Here it comes. Run, pass. Sure enough, what do we do? Run on first down.
Yeah.
2nd and 7. Run on 2nd down. 3rd and 6. Pass, punt. Right. That was the offense. And if the average person that's just sitting on their couch watching the game knows that, what do you think the opponent knows that spent
It looks like,
a week
it looked
studying
like
film?
Mike McCarthy with the Packers. It did, didn't it?
Yeah. And you know what? The Alex Orgy package can be successful, right? But it's just so
They let
randomly
him throw the
and
dang ball.
well,
You're
even
down.
without it. Even without it, like right, there are packages.
I
that
mean,
they run, but
it can't be successful,
that's so
man.
bad.
If not one time, if every time he come in, they know it's a run, it will never be successful like that. I'm sorry. I don't care how
So
creative you get. I don't care.
if they
Like
ex,
as soon
if
as
they
he come in,
execute it, they got to be doing reads. They gotta. What they need to do is they can't motion the guy that you would do a read to out of the backfield and do just a quarterback power, right? So think about service academies, right? That run the option. They are so hard to defend because they put players on defense in conflict, right? So if we put that package out there and we do it in a way that it can create rhythm in the game instead of randomly on this 3rd and 5, we're just going to throw Alex Orgy out here for a play and then we're going to take him off the field, right? And then in 2 more quarters we might go do the same thing, right? There's no rhythm to it, and at that point in time it is too predictable, right? And it doesn't put the defense in conflict, right? But if they have a package where they're
at least a couple times, man.
absolutely
Keep them honest. You never know.
have to build that in.
He coming in running, man, and like I said, what's his name? Stevie Wonder could have seen this. He coming in. Soon as they say his name on TV, Alex, they running. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's like everybody in the crowd, like, let him throw the ball one time. I just don't think they got confidence in him to throw the ball, and it's sad. Maybe he's shown that in practice. I don't know, but come on, man.
It is hard to tell. But Colston Loveland, -1 play, and that play hurt. Right. And I said this to you guys. He's probably never done that in his life and probably never will again.
No, I doubt it. That will never happen again. You know why? Because I already know he done kicked himself in the ass for it. I mean, all right, come on, man. That's That's one of our guys on the team. I know he didn't want that to happen, and that'll never happen again. So,
right.
That's why I ain't even been talking about that. Like, that's an outlier.
That hurt because he had an easy first down there. There's no way Colson's going down before he gets the first down, and who knows what
should have been a first down before that. Should have never even happened. Should have been a first down before that.
But I mean, but still, I mean, our passing offense has to go through him. Our passing offense this year, he's too big of a mismatch. We've got to scheme him. We got to keep scheming him. And that's going to be a big thing is get him lined up on safeties, get him lined up on linebackers, get him lined up on get him lined up on corners. He can beat corners, right? That guy's a stud. He's the best tight end in college football. Let's run the passing offense through him. But if I can take something bright away, I was happy to see Samaj Morgan getting involved in making a couple plays, right? Because we need somebody in that receiving room to step up and make a play when they get the ball in their hands.
I really ain't really been on it how I was supposed to, and I apologize, but is his name Chandler? Our wide receiver Chandler?
CJ
Charleston. Is he a freshman? He a freshman, correct?
No, he's a transfer.
Oh, he a transfer. Okay. No, but I mean, I think they need to play him a little bit more too.
Yeah, he got a decent amount of reps in this game.
I think they need to play him.
Yeah, he got 19 snaps, right? So surprisingly, I think a name we're going to be talking about in the receiver room by the end of the year pretty consistently is Kendrick Bell. Kendrick Bell got 39 snaps at the receiver position. Tyler Morris got 40. Those were the top 2 guys as far as snap counts in the game.
No doubt.
So, and I think that he's going to become a big player on that offense. But we need someone in the receiver room to step up. But again, part of that is we need to scheme them so that they can get open. We need to get the ball moving further than 3 yards downfield. We need to get the ball putting the secondary in conflict, flooding their zones. If they're playing man coverage, challenging them on it and trying to beat them. How many times do we see just because we play man coverage, we can have Will Johnson covering somebody and have perfect coverage and the ball just lands in there and it works once in a while, right? Like, let's just, if we read that, let's go after it.
Which every non-conference game last year,
Yeah,
last
right.
season, Bowling Green, great example. For real,
Yeah.
for real. Came up with it like every time.
Yeah, but hey, at least we have a kicker.
Yeah, great kicker.
At least we have a kicker.
I gotta meet him too.
Which we're playing. We're playing his old team this week.
I gotta meet him.
So looking ahead, we've talked about this a little bit, but you know, if you have to name two things, right? Let's just go with two things. So Jason, I'll start with you. What are two things that Michigan has to do looking ahead at the rest of the season? We've got Arkansas State this upcoming week, which, you know, really it's got to be all about Michigan. It can't be about Arkansas State. We got USC coming up behind that. We've got to right. Michigan has to make Michigan right before USC. So what are two things that Michigan needs to do moving forward to get back on track?
I think we already talked about it. I think quite a bit we talked about it tonight, but it's got to be better play calling. We got to start getting these guys comfortable so they can start gelling together. Then we can get a little bit more strategic, open up the playbook. But I think the coaches really need to come together and we need to come up with a better game plan. And yeah, I know we got Arkansas State coming up here, but like you said, we're prepping for USC as well too. So we got to get creative with the play calling. That has to happen. I think we're going to see the offensive line gel a little bit better. What's going to happen then? We can play our game, we can be a ball constrictor, and we can actually run the damn ball. That's what we have to do. I think this is really big on coaching right now and how we're going to utilize these players, especially these offensive players as well too, and especially at the quarterback position and the offensive line position as well too. That's going to be key for me going into next week and for the rest of the year, and then how we can build up from that and what we can do strategically as well too with our calling. It's got to happen.
Ray, what about you? Two things that Michigan's going to need to do moving forward to right the ship.
Get our run game going and protect Davis Warren more.
Get the run game going. Protect Davis Warren.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think we got the horses to do everything else. We got the athletes on the outside. We got great running backs. We just need our offensive line to let our quarterback develop and give him some time to make the plays. If we don't got no time to make the plays, he always gonna look how he look now. So, but and then that the offensive line runs up that helps the running game. So it's really the offensive line to me. It's just really one thing. It's the offensive line. If they can shore up the run game and give Davis Warren some time, we'll be A1.
Yeah, I think defensively, I think the key is just get back to playing Michigan defensive football, right? Like just get back to playing hard, fast, 11 hats to the ball every play. Know your assignment. Be there. Be where you're supposed to be. Do what you're supposed to do to the best of your ability, right?
I mean, he said he was the godfather of this defense, man. It's time to show that, man.
Yep. Adjust from it.
Y'all been saying y'all was better than the defense last year. Come on, let's see it, man. Let's see it. Let's see it.
And then
got faith in y'all.
I think offensively, one of the biggest keys moving forward is, I hate to use this phrase, but I'm going to, and I'm going to steal something from Josh Gaddis. We need to incorporate an element of the idea of speed and space, right?
I knew you was about to say
that was one thing that while our identity became Smash Mouth football, the last couple of years, we did a hell of a good job getting Roman Wilson open in space. We did a hell of a good job using Donovan Edwards as a weapon out of the backfield and creating mismatches in the passing game. Right? We
Even in the
did a
running
good
game.
job. Yeah, in the running game, in the passing game, we did a good job getting Samaj Morgan open and getting him in space as a true freshman. We did a good job last year in the college football playoffs getting Tyler Morris open. Right. So even while our identity was smash mouth football, there was an element of the passing offense and an element of the play calling that Sharon Moore was bringing that was getting our best athletes mismatches and getting them open in space to go make plays. We haven't seen that yet this year. We've seen that kind of taken away. Right. Almost everything has been bring everything and smash it right into the middle and hope that it pops. Right. And that's why we haven't really seen any big plays. So I think offensively, we've just got to pull an element of finding a way to get our best athletes and our best playmakers on offense, get them the ball in space, scheme up plays to get them open and get them balls in space, whether that's through reverses, through misdirection, or opening up the passing game a little bit.
See some motivation too. Just one big play. Anything.
So now, another thing to talk about, right? So moving forward, Michigan football cannot play the way that they played on Saturday and expect to win games against USC and expect to win games against Oregon and Ohio State, right? The way that they played on Saturday, the way that the coaches coached, the way that the players played, the way everything went, that's not gonna be good enough, right? And so be it with whatever happens. All right. We just won a national championship. Sometimes when you win a national championship, you turn over a lot of really talented players to the NFL. And that's what happened. Right. And then you try and reload. But you never know what you're reloading to in game time situations until they actually get there. Now we've got a lot of players this year making their college debuts. They're not necessarily their debuts, but making their first starts in college football. And a team, especially on offense, really playing together for the first time at game speed, which is different than practice speed. So part of what we need to remember as a fan base, I think, is we're not going to win every single game for the rest of the time. That's not going to happen. We're going to lose. Every team's not going to be a national championship team. It'd be cool. We're going to want it to be every year. We're going to want to win every game for the rest of the time. But one of the things that we often forget about is the fact that the guys that are playing the game on the field are 18 to 21-year-olds primarily, right? So, and they're going to take that loss harder than we are, right? We watch that game on Saturday and we're emotionally invested. And then come Monday, guess what we do? We go back to our jobs. Once the game's over, we're back to changing diapers. We're back to visiting with our in-laws. We're back to doing whatever we have to do with life, and we're just really maybe pissed off about it. Well, Dre, your life is your life's different than mine.
I'm still emotionally invested. Damn it, I'm still emotionally invested.
But we gotta remember, right? That losing one game isn't time to fire the coaches. Losing one game isn't time to bench the starters. Losing the game isn't time to say that we're back to the Don Brown years, right? We just got to relax a little bit. Jason, I know you want to elaborate on this a little bit, yeah. But we've got to be as a fan base. We have to understand that we're talking about 18 to 21-year-old kids. And the last thing that they ever want to do is make a mistake, but they're going to. And they're still, even when they make mistakes, they're better than a lot of us at the job that they're out there doing. Mm-hmm. They're better than we are at doing the jobs that we get paid to do.
I ain't trying to get hit by no
scenarios. I've had it happen before, but yeah, I don't want it to happen now.
Needs on an onside kick. Sucked. Yeah, I definitely got some words to speak. So I had to delete a few comments. And I get it. Like, fans act differently. People act differently. You show different signs of caring. But when you come after one of our players, we got parents in the group. That's a big no-no. That's not even strike one. I mean, you're out. You're out of the group. So kind of got to shut your trap there when that happens, because that really pissed me off this past weekend. So we have a lot of different. We talked about this already. We have a lot of different pieces, and like I said, we didn't get the 3 non-conference games to piece things together last season. Okay, get that through your freaking head. I still think we're going to have a great year. We might not win as many games as we're expecting to, but I still think we're going to surprise a lot of people. And this beatdown is probably what we needed to wake the hell up. We're not invincible. We're human. I like the adversity that we're facing. We still have the right mindset, the strength, the will. As normal people, we should want to face challenges in life. That's how you freaking learn. It's called having a growth mindset. So you should have one as a fan. These guys are actually going to work to try to win games. They know what they're defending this year. This stuff isn't, life just isn't given to you on a silver platter. It's not gifted to you. So if you're going to make excuses, you need to be an Ohio State fan. Like, truthfully, go ahead and jump ship, because we're not dealing with that shit on our page or as just Michigan fans. As soon as you get to know these families and these players and the work that they actually put in, you need to like face reality with that stuff. Okay? This shit isn't just given to you. So have the right mindset, have a growth mindset as this team does. We're going to bounce back. We're going to show some urgency. And as fans, toughen the hell up. Life isn't fair. And as Michigan fans, you can't make excuses. If you want to justify your L's in life or from your team, then like I said, jump ship and be a bitch eye fan. They're good for that. We've heard it the last 3 years, right? So I don't have time for you. You showing aggression and pouting is weakness to me. This team doesn't have that. You're a fan. Show some goddamn backbone and back this fucking team up. That's what I have to say about that.
Jeez,
Stop being
nice
a bee. Let's go.
Sheesh. But no, all jokes aside, man.
Enough for the comments. So many negative comments. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, y'all gotta chill with it, man.
Sick of it.
Y'all don't understand. Like it be families. It's families of the players, from former players to current players, and it give us a black eye. Not as the Victors Nation, is as Michigan in general, man. And I just ain't talking about the Victors Nation, because I'm pretty sure parents is in other Michigan groups as well, and see what other fans are saying. I'm not even just, like I said, I'm not just speaking about Victors Nation. I'm just speaking in general. We only could control what's going on in Victors Nation, and we won't stand for it here. We value your opinion. Like I repeatedly say, we value your opinion. That's what we made the group for. But you see, this whole podcast, we had opinions, we had our frustrations. We took all that out with not a disrespectful comment or a disrespectful thing said about anyone. So you can talk and have discussions. That's what it's for, man. We welcome all of that. Just keep it respectful, man. Because, like I said, if your son was out here and he made a mistake, or they didn't win a game, and somebody was calling him a bum or this and that you have a problem. So, like I said, just keep it respectful, man. And if you don't, I was just deleting the comment. My partner say delete you. So that's your last warning for everybody that you know what I'm saying, continuously do negative things. Y'all will be banned, and it ain't no coming back.
And so another thing to remember is there's a long season, right? And so one game isn't going to define the season. And like I said, you know, we were spoiled the last couple of years, right? There's been a handful of programs that have been spoiled for a little bit, and we weren't one of those programs for a while, right? We had a pretty rough go of it for about 20 years in the 2000s, right? There are some bright spots and some moments of hope, but in general, we had a pretty rough go of it. And then the last 3 years, we turned into one of those programs, and we got spoiled. And as a fan base, we weren't complaining about losing. We were complaining about not winning by enough, right? That was the complaint coming out of all of our mouths, right? Last year against Bowling Green, right? The complaint wasn't that we didn't have any losses to complain about last year. We complained because we didn't beat Bowling Green by enough, And so when we make a change, and we're all fans, so we get emotionally invested in the wins and the losses, right? But and we can still hold players accountable for what they're supposed to do. That's what we did, right? We talked about the fact that we have some really good players that didn't make the plays that they're capable of, right? And they're great players, and they're going to get coached up, and they're going to go and they're going to sit in the film room, and they're going to recap what they did, and then they're going to go out and they're going to put that behind them, and they're going to go get better, right? Jim Harbaugh saying, "Be better today than you were yesterday. Be better tomorrow than you are today." Right? That's what they're going to go and do. And oh, we got a comment here. Remember those years? Well, middle school years, the dark years in Michigan football. Yeah, absolutely. Right? But we got to remember when it gets, in my opinion, if there's ever a time to back the players, it's when things get tough for them, and that doesn't mean that you can't hold them accountable for
it. Era, bro. I hated that Adidas era.
Yeah, horrible.
It doesn't mean that we can't complain, right? It doesn't mean that we can't hold players accountable for our passing offense or our pass protection or our run blocking and not being good enough, right? But we've got to back the team. We got to back the program. We've got to back the players. We've got to be the best fan base. The fan base has more influence over recruiting than I think people think it does, right? Because that fan culture, that the way fans act on social media, the way fans act on Twitter and Facebook groups, the way fans act in a stadium. I don't know what it was like inside the stadium, Dre, during the game. I know that you probably.
Everybody was having fun. Everybody was having fun until it got out of hand. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, the Texas fans wasn't being rude. You know what I'm saying? It was fun. Like, it was good banter, man. I was having so much fun. I swear.
Yeah.
It's not like Ohio State where we just know we hate y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just Texas, like, yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't know they was gonna win. A lot of Texas fans did not know they was gonna win for real.
Right.
For real.
So
until they start winning.
Think about Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, and I saw a video of their fans booing the players as their players left the field, right? If there are recruits at that game and that's what they're seeing out of their home fans, right? If there are recruits that are considering Notre Dame and that's what they're seeing the fan culture like, the moment that something doesn't go right, how is that going to impact a recruit and transfer to Michigan?
So, if you're a Cleveland Brown fan, go for it. I get it. It's acceptable. But, it does. They look at that. They look at every single little aspect of the game, fan base, state. Every single thing, the culture, everything. What does this program have to offer me? And it's a bad look. Horrible look.
Yeah.
We talk about shit, but we don't boo you here.
Right.
Go Blue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, it's a long season. There's a lot to correct. And, that there's potential that we win out the rest of the year. There's potential that we absorb a few more losses. The thing about football is that you've got to go play the game. Right. And that's what every week there's going to be two teams playing. And every week one team's going to lose. Brett, it was fun. I was there too, surrounded by burnt orange, and it was pretty good conversations. Even though there's some Ohio State people disguised as Texas fans, I absolutely believe that.
Oh yeah, he was about to fight one.
Barstool.
He was about to fight a dude with a Quinn Ewers Ohio State jersey, yo. Shout out my boy Brett, man. That's my baby, man. Shout out my boy, man. Love you, Brett.
Thank you for your service.
Hey, bro, it was funny though. As soon as he seen him, he turned up 1,000. Like, what is going on? Oh man, that's about to get serious. But it's all love, man. Appreciate you, Brett, baby.
Well, to recap, everyone, kind of shit the bed, lost to Texas, got smacked in the mouth. Coaching staff gets to go learn from it. The players get to go learn from it. Now we're moving forward the rest of the season. This game coming up against Arkansas, we didn't spend very much time talking about Arkansas, right? Because I think it's all about Michigan has to correct Michigan. That's what I think the biggest thing is before we go into USC. And I don't think they're going to be looking ahead to USC. I think they're going to be looking at Arkansas State as a punching bag to correct Michigan.
They better.
Right. But we still got a lot of football in front of us. Big Ten play hasn't even started. So every single goal that Michigan started the season with is still in front of them, except for if one of their goals was to go undefeated. That's not in front of them anymore. But win the Big Ten, make the college football playoffs, win a national championship, those things are all still in front of them. Right? I'm not saying that all those things are going to happen, but those things didn't go away because of this one game.
No, it did.
So on that note, we got one more comment that came in. And Sue, great podcast.
See you Saturday, Sue. I love you.
Hey, Sue.
All right, Dre, you want to sign us off?
Once again, I thank y'all for supporting us. Y'all been doing it for so long. We love y'all. Please like and subscribe. That's right, Bray. He didn't say a word. Continue to love one another, be respectful to one another, and go blue.
Go blue.
Go blue.